Hello, and welcome back to Foos Entertainment for my next review. A second here. Set the microphone before this. Alrighty. And first we'll be talking about Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. I'd like to announce it is the intro title to the movie, Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6. Well, as I mentioned before, this is my favorite one out of the entire franchise. Why is this my favorite one? Well, a few reasons. Everybody knows that I am a vocal artist, and I sing a lot of music. What people don't really know is, because I never recorded any of these and put them on my channel. Sorry about that, just a little cold outside, it's getting my sinuses. I have in the past sang songs by Alice Cooper. And one of the songs that I sing from Alice Cooper is actually He's Back, the Man Behind the Mask, which is the song for Friday the 13th, Part 6. Stupid reason, yes, but there's other reasons. I feel after the final chapter in A New Beginning that Tony Jarvis has, in a lot of ways, become the hero in sort of Jason's arch enemy. He kind of, he's the one that will always be there to kick the crap out of Jason, kill him, always be someone that's in his way. And that's definitely the case with Jason Lives, Part 6. Tommy really is at his prime in it. I feel that the character just has a lot when it comes down to that persona. I also like the look of the movie. This one really just has a really good look to it. And it's kind of hard to describe, that's why I can't go into detail. But another thing I like about it is the director of this movie, which his first name is Tom, but I always forget his last name for some odd reason. It starts with an M, but doesn't really done a whole lot of stuff. He just did a few movies. He mostly did TV stuff when it came to the TV series of Friday the 13th. I believe he was one of the directors on that. I believe he did direct a few episodes of Freddy's Nightmares a couple of years later. Maybe been involved in Tales from the Crypt Show, and then Tales from a Dark Side, but don't really know a lot about credits of him movie-wise. But I loved how much fun he had with this movie. He was really adamant about following the traditions of the Friday the 13th films. So much to the point that he decided that there had to be 13 kills in this movie. So 13 people get killed in this movie. This is actually the one, if you're actually doing a kill count on Jason, which I am not. But if you are, you don't have to really count in this movie because there's only 13. You can go ahead and just say, oh, well, we already know there's 13 kills in this movie, so we don't need to actually count like you do in all the other films. There's also directors of horror films that are referenced all over the place in this movie. Like you have Cunningham Road is in Sean Cunningham, the creator of Friday the 13th. I believe Wes Craven's referenced is some town or something. I believe John Carpenter is referenced in the movie as well. His name of something. I find that kind of cool. There's also a lot of humor in the movie. They kind of this gives it a little bit of a gem. I kind of like it like that. That's something that was really appreciative about the movie. Give me a second. Sherlock definitely wants to get petted. Well, come up here. Come on. All right. But yeah, that's how I look at it. Now the premise of the film. Friday the 13th either is related to Part 5 or it is not related to Part 5, and it is a second attempt at making a sequel to Part 4, which depends on what you believe. I believe it's actually disregards Part 5 and plays out as a sequel to 4, which makes a lot more sense. In fact, I say it most likely is. So it ignores the fifth film and just is a continuation of the fourth film. Tommy is suffering from PTSD again, and he decides that the only way to get peace of mind is to dig up Jason's grave and cremate his corpse. And in doing so, he has a rage frenzy and stabs a metal rod post through his heart, center of his chest, right about here. Or it might have been actually where the heart really is. This is right here. We're told I actually think it is. And by odd luck, or bad luck, at least in Tommy's case, lightning strikes the rod and reanimates Jason, much like you would see in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, with how Dr. Frankenstein creates his monster. And basically, wow, that's better. At least a little bit with my throat. But basically, Jason comes back to life. He kills his friend he brought with him. And the rain starts to fall. Another ounce of bad luck for Tommy. The rain starts to fall after he throws gasoline all over Jason and intends to set him on fire. Which wouldn't work at this point anyways, but of course he doesn't know that. We do. Basically, Jason makes his way back to the camp. Counselors start to disappear, starting first with the host counselors who were in a car on their way. And then makes his way to the camp and starts killing off them one by one. This one actually has children at the camp in this one. One of the little girls actually sees Jason as terrified and asks for help from the adults. Meanwhile, with all this going on, after a failed attempt to get help from the sheriff's office, Tommy gets incarcerated. We found one of the counselors is the daughter of the sheriff. The sheriff's daughter actually believes Tommy and tries to help him. They get cornered by the sheriff, and then they have to escape again. And Tommy comes up with a plan to actually bury Jason at the bottom of Camp Crystal Lake where he drowned, or supposedly drowned back in 1957, by taking a rock that weighs about 1,000 or so pounds, but probably not 1,000 pounds, probably more like 500 or 450 or some shit like that. It tends to wrap a chain around his neck and then push the rock over the side in which the chain is connected to and imprison Jason at the very bottom of the Camp Crystal Lake. he dares Jason to come after him on a cocoon in the middle of the lake. Jason, and this is something that, Ronnie O, you should have watched this movie. Jason is not afraid of the water. This is why. And there's been plenty of reasons in previous films, but this one really stands out. Jason literally walks into the lake, right into the center of the lake where Tommy is residing. Tommy does get him at the bottom of the lake with the rock, but Tommy also gets pulled underneath too when Jason breaks the canoe and takes him underneath with him. Tommy tries to get away. Sheriff's daughter has to go in and save Tommy. When she does so, in an attempt to save Tommy from drowning, Jason tries to kill her. She uses the repellers of the part of the canoe that's still not submerged underneath water and castrates Jason. Finally gets them to let go of her. And if I didn't fail to mention this, Jason does kill the sheriff who tries to save her daughter. Sorry, tries to save his daughter. Tries to save his daughter. She brings Tommy back to health, and he survives his drowning episode. This is the first Jason movie that kind of goes on to the traditions of the modern persona of Jason Voorhees that we have come to see in these movies. You were trying to bite me, Sherlock? Why? Hands are not toys. But, yeah, that's pretty much how it ends. And it has a little cliffhanger like all these films do. At the very bottom of the lake, we see Jason's eye open, which means he's not dead. He's just trapped. It goes on that famous song by Alice Cooper. That's pretty much the premise of the movie, what the movie's about and all. Audio and video quality. The picture of this movie is pretty neutral ground for a Blu-ray. I would say that that the film just has a very neutral look. It's just a really good HD master of a digital movie, but it is a step forward over DVD. Yes, this is the best it has looked. Color templates, I would say that this one is more warm than it is cool. Matter of fact, there's not really much in the way of cool color temperatures at all in this movie. It's all very warm color temperatured from beginning to end. Audio. Was this the first Friday the 13th film to actually be preceded with surround sound in the first place with Ultra Stereo Source Track back in 1986 when it was released? I would say this one sounds like a stereo surround source track and not so much like a 5.1 track, but you can definitely hear much more intensity with all the speakers. And at times it has really good direction when it comes to effects of the sound. Much like Part 7. But Part 7 I think they did a lot more on because they really remastered that source track and really created a brand new 5.1 track. This one is more like a upgrade of the Ultra Stereo track, but it does have a lot to offer in terms of good sound. Definitely enjoy the sound of this movie. Well, that's definitely all there is to really say about Part 6. A lot of people think this is the first movie that really brings out a lot of the characteristics of Jason as we know him, like his lurking walk. And this is also the first movie where Jason does not run, which kind of brings to my point of view of these films and how Jason's proceeded in them. I think that Jason would run around when he was a natural character in Flesh and Blood. What happened in this movie, he's not. He's actually a completely supernatural character. And I think that once he became a supernatural character, He just doesn't run anymore. He just walks. And it's almost like the killer shark in Jaws, almost. And he completely is unstoppable. Now, he cannot be killed. So it gets a little bit more corny and ridiculous from this point on. This is the last one that isn't ridiculous in the Friday the 13th film series. But it's my favorite one because of a lot of the elements of the action and the story and our hero and the good versus evil theology of the movie. The characters are pretty good. This also has a lot of actors in it that are surprising. You have Jennifer Cook, who plays Elizabeth in the third and final chapter in the V saga, V the television series, which was released from 1984 for 1985, which is, of course, the sequel to V the miniseries and V the Final Battle from 1983 and 1984, which also stars Robert Englund from Nightmare on Elm Street film series as Freddy Krueger, as well as Michael Ironside from Total Recall and Starship Troopers and Scanners, and also stars Mark Singer from The Beastmaster and Watchers 2, and Jane Badler from the 1980s version of Mission Impossible the series, and she also came back to play the role of Diana again in the remake of the series. And also stars, of course, Tom Matthews from Kickboxer 4 The Aggressor, Return of the Living Dead Part 2, and this writing line was a big surprise to you. So I remember his name. I forget his name, but you guys should probably fill a name out for yourself. He played the bad guy who betrays his friend, played by Patrick Swayze in Ghost. Also plays the villain in The Mechanic with Jason Statham and Mark Foster. And, actually not Mark Foster, what is that guy's name? Well, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. Let's place the main bad guy and villain, in my opinion, in the new modern horror movie, which was a pretty good gem. Let's see if I remember the name of that one. The Belko Experiment. But I just forget his name for some reason. I had it in my head, and then I kind of lost it. Of course, his best movie would probably have to be playing the lead in the remake of The Last House on the Left, which I really enjoyed. If I come across that one, maybe I'll find that one. Maybe I'll find some time to review that one if I come across it in the stores. But yeah, lots of very good and interesting cast choices in this movie that I really enjoyed. As a matter of fact, this is no, actually, no, that's not. It doesn't remember. No, I'm not gonna look up his name. But, yeah. And C.J. Graham, in my opinion, is who created the Jason that we all kind of love and know for most of these films. People will assume it was Kane Hodder that kind of started this whole characteristic thing about Jason. But no, it started with stunt actor C.J. Graham, who played Jason in this movie. So I definitely thought this was a great film. Well, that's all there is to say. Did you guys like Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives? Did you not like the movie? Do you like this video? Do you not like this video? As always, subscribe. Check back with me from time to time. Share this video with friends. Now I will see you guys next time for my review on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. Until then.